Good evening, everybody. Notice is hereby given that a meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of City of Buckhorn Heights, Bear County, Texas, will be held Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Justice Center located at 3300 Hillcrest Drive, Buckhorn Heights, Texas, at which time the following subjects will be discussed to wit. Call to order and recording of quorum. Our business items are approval of minutes for the meeting held on July 16th, 2024. Can I get a motion to approve? I get a second?
I second it.
Can you turn on your mic? So it could come out in the recording.
Motion to approve. Second it.
And second. Approval of minutes. Albert, do you have a presentation? Okay. The commission will hold a public hearing to receive public comments on amending section 153.3.1.16 of the zoning code for the property located at 7001 West IH 10.
Chair, can you open the public hearing and mention the time?
Oh, open the public hearing. August 20th at 6:01 p.m. 2024.
We need to go back to item number 1, the approval of the minutes for the meeting held on July 16th.
Uh-huh.
We didn't call for a vote on that one. I missed it. I apologize.
Oh,
So I think we had a motion and a
we had
second.
a motion and a
correct?
second. We just need to call for a vote.
We do need to call for a vote. You guys, all in favor, and then hear it, and then all opposed.
Okay.
Do y'all do it by record?
So we go back to
Not necessarily.
approval of minutes for the meeting held on July 26th, 2024,
That's July 16?
July 16th, 2024. Can I get a vote? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
Motion carried.
motion is carried. All right, there we go. The commission will now hold a public hearing to receive public comments on amending section 153.3.1.16 of the zoning code for the property located at 7001 West IH 10. And I believe y'all have a presentation.
And Chair, if you could reopen the public hearing in due time. Sorry.
We need
Just
to
so the minutes
reopen
are good.
the public hearing, August 20th, 2024 at 6:03 p.m.
Okay. Good evening, Commissioners and Chairman. I'm Rose Anderson with Community Development, and joining me this evening is Mr. Ian Fisher, representing Balcony Heights Business Park and Executive Suites, who is here to request an amendment of the plan use development for signage. The plan use development requirement for signage. The property is located at 7001 West IH 10, currently zoned O1 low-rise office. It was previously a vacant lot, and prior to that, it was a mobile home park. This current PUD requires a monument sign, and the owner is requesting a revision to install an electronic 55-foot pole sign with the dimensions of 15 feet by 30 feet, and will meet all other signage requirements. Please note that this change will only apply to his PUD and not affect the signage ordinance. So here on this slide is an example of the proposed sign and its location. That gold star there marks the location of the proposed sign, which is parallel to the frontage road. And here are some pictures of existing post signs in the area, which demonstrate that this type of signage is already prevalent in this area. The 55-foot pole sign would blend in with the existing landscape and not disrupt the visual character of the area. The benefits of the pole sign are crucial to the business as it would allow to advertise and expose the property to the elevated traffic on IH-10. The proposed dimensions of the sign are necessary to be of any consequence and make a meaningful impact on passing motorists. The proposed sign, as mentioned earlier, is compatible with the existing post signs in the area and is actually not as tall as some of the existing signs along the frontage road. After reviewing consideration, staff believes this revision would be a reasonable accommodation considering the benefits that it would bring. At this time, I would like to hand things over to Mr. Ian Fisher.
Chair Winkler and council members, thank you very much for your time this evening. I'll just give you a little background, just a few minutes on the project itself, because I think there may be a member or two that were not part of the original P&Z when we made our presentation some time ago. But looking at that site, it was a challenging site because it's got a lot of fall on the site. We had to raise it up quite a lot. And that didn't really matter what we actually built there, whether we had put multifamily or some kind of a nursing facility, that would have been the case. In addition, to get the signage and the advertising for this type of business, which you really need, you've got to get kind of out from under the freeway because the freeway raises quite sharply at that point along the highway. And if you don't get a sign up that high, you just won't be seen. And passing by traffic is just a big deal for this type of a project. It's existential to the project. And we didn't just dream that up. The people that are going to run that for us are consultants. They run 55 different types of business parks. And they make that very clear that you have to have retail. I mean, they certainly do a lot of online work as well. But passing traffic is just very important for the whole concept. So in order not to abuse the height that we want, we could have just said, just make it as high as we like and as large as we like. We did not do that. There's a very expensive sign, upwards of $250,000. So believe me, if I didn't need that, I'd be much happier. But it's something we feel is essential to build. So what I did is I paid our sign company, which happens to be Keller Signs. They're just down the road here on I-10. I paid them to bring a bucket truck out and send that up with 2 sheets of plywood, put together so we could see kind of where the sign would be. And then we drove up and down I-10 so that we could see where the height would be, where we could actually get visibility. Would it be, hidden behind one of the other signs? Would it be too tall or too low? And so that's where we got that 55-foot dimension from. So we paid attention to that so that we didn't abuse the citizens of Balcones Heights. In addition, if you look at that sign, you'll see that our partnership with the city has been in the spirit of good faith from day one. I mean, we spent 4 years working with the EDFs and the various managers in the city, and we named it Balcones Heights Business Park for a reason. We want to be good corporate citizens here. We think that'll be great advertising. I'm not sure that there's any advertising that'll be on Interstate 10 that to that extent advertises the name. And that's the way we work. We've done that in Universal City, and we're doing that right here, because as it goes with our project, it goes with the city. As it goes with the city, it goes with us. We see it as all in one. In addition, where it says now leasing, that's actually the electronic sign portion of the sign. So we'll have the ability to control that from our telephones and from a computer and type in anything that we want to advertise. So we don't need to advertise our now leasing and what our buildings look like 24 hours a day. So we will certainly and are happy to grant the city an hour or two every day at no charge so that you can advertise what you may have. You may have the Jazz Festival. I see we missed it this year, but you've got the Jazz Festival. You may have brush pickups. You may have, city council meetings. You can put up there whatever you like. But once again, that's the spirit of what we're more than happy to do. We don't see that as a big deal. We see that as something that we should do for the city because, we'll be bringing people in that will be paying tax revenues on what they do. We don't have the mix of that because we're not sure of the tenants, but there'll be a lot of people working in that business park. They'll support the city. They'll support the restaurants. And those that are selling retail will pay taxes. So from day one, this is the spirit with which we've approached this whole project has been obviously for us to make a profit. We have to, and to have a nice looking project. We've got some really nice colors. It's not just metal buildings. Rose has pictures if any of you would like to see those later. But the project needs to be elevated. The sign needs to be visible because we need visibility. And as I said, it's existential to our project. But if you look at where that sign's going to be, it doesn't pop up higher than anything else. It actually flows with the few signs as you drive up and down I-10. And I've spent 2 days, 2 hours twice driving up and down, just turning around and going back and looking at it to see, will it actually do any harm or will it make, will it be like a sore thumb sticking out there? The answer is, in our opinion, it very definitely won't. I think the pros will be far in excess of the cons. In fact, we cannot see any cons to the idea. We think it's something that the city needs. It's a big project. We have a lot of, tenants that are going to be there. And I think that will help make the project successful. So I think we've pretty well covered most of the points. I'd love to open it up for questions if you have any.
Is that the only sign you're gonna have?
Yes, that'll be the only sign. We'll have a sign at the entrance to the business park on Gill Road, but that's just a small sign so that when people drive up, they can see entry to the sign of the Balcones Heights Business Park. But in terms of freeway advertising, absolutely.
I have a question. As a small business owner in Balcones Heights, how do we get that kind of treatment as a regular small business owner in Balcones Heights? I mean, I see you giving Mr. Fisher all this time and effort, the presentations that you're putting in. How does a small business person on Hillcrest get your attention for more than 5 minutes? I talked to you about the codes and everything. And just so you know, I believe in everything you're doing because I'm a small business owner just like you.
Yeah.
But as an individual bonus owner, I don't feel like there's equality. As I'm on Hillcrest, I don't get treated like you get treated. And I think that's unfair. And I think the city codes and the city administration is the issue. And I'm going to support you because I want you to support me. I'm a small business owner and I want your respect as well, just like I respect you.
Well, I wish you'd tell me how I can support you.
I know, that's why I say, let's just continue to work.
Just to clarify, I think your review of the application should be based on what the state and your local ordinances require. Does it harm any neighboring properties? Is it compatible with the surrounding uses? I think your review tonight should be kind of focused on that and not accidentally slip into any kind of other.
Well, I guess I was accidentally slipping into things a little bit, but I still like you and I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm kind of a business guy. I was talking to Juan Garcia back here and I was talking with Mark about age and why we do this. And I can tell you that I get that question from my wife, like, what's up with you? When are you going to stop this? And I like the business world. So I try and balance my life to be involved in large businesses, small businesses, real estate. So maybe we'll have a cup of coffee. I'm happy to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. Anything else? That's it?
No other
Thanks very
questions?
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that's signed up to speak regarding this?
I believe you have some papers there with the name of the people.
Mark Signs? Sir, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Mark Sines. I live at 501 Balcones Heights Road. I just wanted to speak on behalf of Mr. Fisher, and I believe this is a good exception to the rule and that it should be updated for this specific purpose. So it's only for their PUD. It's not going to affect any other signed regulations or ordinances at this point. His project is going to be a good opportunity for the city. It's going to generate ad valorem taxes. It's going to generate sales taxes. So approving this would be beneficial to our city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Juan? Yes, sir.
Mr. Science pretty much covered. I'm going to be echoing what Mr. Science.
Okay. So you are in favor? Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. Is there any other comments? All right, we're gonna close the public comments at 6:16 PM. Right? I got that right?
Yes.
Okay. The commission will consider and take action on the request submitted by Tamir Enterprises LTD for a property located at 7001 West IH 10 to amend signs or amend section 153.3.16 of the zoning code to allow the installation of a 55-foot electronic sign with dimensions of 15 feet by 30 feet. Is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Before you do that, you need to understand that this PUD is for his property only, not for anything else.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Is there a second?
go ahead.
Or
I'll second it.
you'll second? Okay. I need to go to a vote, right? Vote.
So now it'd be a vote. You've got a motion and a second to approve to recommend approval of the application as submitted. So yeah, the next would be a call for a vote in favor.
Do we have a vote in favor? There we go. Can I get a vote in favor of the
Aye.
approved amendment?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? No nays? So we have approved this, where'd it go?
So you've recommended approval. The
Recommended
motion
approval.
passed to recommend approval to city council.
The motion
the
passed to
application.
recommend approval of city council of this, of Tamir Enterprises sign request. Right? Yeah,
Correct.
okay. Sorry, but it is my second time. Okay. Next on the agenda, discussion regarding temporary signs and feather flags.
Can you give us a definition of that?
Let's see what we have. Is that you? Would you like to speak about that?
Did you get my email the other day about the temporary flags, about the car wash?
Who are
Is
you
there a-
asking?
Albert,
Yes, sir.
you did? Okay, and can you tell me why that you're not enforcing the codes that are written in the books?
Just direct your questions to the city administrator.
Okay.
He's coming.
Well, I'm just wondering, there is some reason, I'm pushing really hard to try and get feather flags and temporary signs and stuff like that. 3 months ago, I was trying to get this stuff set up and I asked the same group of people and they were pulling a hard line on me. And now here I am, the car wash is set up, they got feather flags, I talked to them and they got temporary signs up, all in violation of our codes. And I asked them, I said, are you paying any fees or anything like that? And they said, no, we're not, we're just gonna do what we want. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'd love to do just what I want too. But as I've been trying to work with the council and run policies through the procedures, I'm getting hard lines and no's and work on the committee and reback it, rewrite it, rework it. And I'm getting a lot of either double talk or I'm gonna get written up for code violations. I find that very offensive, and I also find it very untrustworthy in the system that we're just enforcing right here, right now. I mean, we just approved this for Mr. Fisher, and then at the low end of the place on Hillcrest, we're getting treated like no. And it's, so I'm hearing double talk. I'm hearing one talk out of the side of the mouth over here, and over to here, I hear another talk. And I'm trying to push it for code rework. If you're gonna work with these businesses, I'm saying, Mr. Fisher, they need to work with me on the other side of the street. And there's other businesses in this business alliance that are also having issues. I want the city, I want their business, I want their attention in my codes. If they're gonna put up presentations, I've seen this man run events over at the Catholic Church. I've seen him run other events to try and work, they say they're doing business and the city is working together, and they are at some level. But at my level and on Hillcrest level and all the businesses, drive down Hillcrest and you'll see how they've been treating us over there. We don't get treated like that. Now, not that we have a silver spoon in our mouth, but we do get treated pretty badly down there. And all I'm asking, so as a business owner to business owner, I'm asking for your support on these codes. Put some pressure where you are, and I'll put pressure. I just approved your stuff. So put pressure on your side and let's work together. Because the city needs to work with us
Yes,
as
sir.
business owners.
Thank you.
Can
Yes,
I-
sir.
Let me just say something
Okay.
real quick, and that is just a reminder for everybody here, is that, we're not policy setters at all. We simply implement the policy that councils and planning and zoning commissions create. So whatever's in the books is what we work with. What you saw today was a request for a variance to some of the existing laws and regulations that exist. That's certainly a purview of anybody here, if you have a business, to request a variance. I know we're gonna be looking at one next month. I know we're gonna be looking at one for you. It's a variance to an existing policy. We don't set policy. We simply implement policy. And that's been the case all along. The issue today was a request from a developer for a variance to an existing code. You looked at the request, you agreed that it was a good idea, and you approved the variance. That's it. It's as simple as that. But we don't set policy. We simply implement the policy that's created by policymakers. That's the way that works, Mr. Eversole. If you think that there's something that you need and it's contrary to what's existing in policy, there's always a request for variance. You're right. I mean, every city goes through rebuilding existing policies, existing codes. We also can do that, but that's something that the policymakers have to request that we do.
And who are the policymakers?
Y'all can
Right here,
recommend,
right there.
The council or?
y'all, so for zoning members, y'all can recommend policies. Your city council will be the final one to approve, to accept or deny that recommendation. So as far as your individual property code enforcement complaints, that's not appropriate for this board. That's appropriate to bring up to staff or exercise your citizen comment rights at city council. You can bring that up to city council as a citizen. If you're looking at changing or amending the city policy on feather flags, there's a process for P and Z to start that, initiate it. You can't do it yourself, but you can study it, have a finding, make motions to see if we have the quorum in support of you, and then you could recommend changes to the feather banner and feather flag.
But how important is it
policies.
if they're already just, this new business comes into town, they stick up 4 feather flags, which is more than we even talked about, and they're just ignoring them.
Well, and again, it's not appropriate for Planning and Zoning Commission, which is the meeting we're at right now. It's appropriate for your code enforcement officers and,
Well, they're right there.
yeah, but
And I'm talking about presentation on feather flags and temporary signs,
So-
which is exactly what they have done and
To
put
the
them up
ex-
without approval.
it is appropriate to the extent you are making observations on the current status of feather flags and whether or not you think it's harmful or not harmful or appropriate for the city. In furtherance of making some kind of potential feather flag policy amendment to your zoning code, recommending it to city council. Going into the details of why certain code enforcement on specific properties, it's just not within the power the state and the city council has granted this body. This body has certain powers, and that's not one of them. You can recommend policy changes, which changing your feather flag policies and zoning codes and planning codes could be that. Y'all would study it, see if the rest of the quorum of your planning and zoning wants to go a certain way, and then you would kick it up to city council, and they would make the final decision. So
We saw how that worked the other day. I mean, the planning and zoning had like very little effect on anything.
well, y'all are just,
I
y'all
mean,
are
is this
merely a
just a
recommending.
horse and pony show or
No.
what?
State has required planning and zoning commissions. Y'all, their city has one. It's for y'all to make recommendations. Ultimately, the city council will accept or deny that recommendation. That's how the state has set it up. That's how your city and most cities set it up. It can feel a little, when recommendations are denied, which happens quite a bit, it can be frustrating for planning and zonings. I've seen that.
Welcome to Balconies Heights.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Is there anything else?
That's it for today.
Okay, I appreciate that. Is that in order?
Chair, it's completely up to you.
Okay.
They have, citizens have an opportunity to speak before y'all take action. This is a discussion only item, so there's no
Yes,
action. It's
there's
up
no
to you.
action.
You can
Okay.
entertain it or not.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Was not that good, yes. So my sincere thanks to all of you for passing this, for this application that we've submitted. It's really important for us, and I think we'll all bear the fruits of that. Second, I want to thank everybody in this room, because I can tell you, I've been walking in and out of the city for 4 years. I really don't think I've done one thing special or out of the ordinary, but I've been treated with the absolute utmost respect by every person, from the minute I check into your offices up front here, to everyone in the back office and the front office, to the various mayors, to the city managers, to the EDF. Everybody has been unbelievably courteous, and I don't think I've done one thing on purpose that's just not normal course business. And I think this is a great city, so I would, if there is a way that sometime I can get involved in your city politics, I'll probably do that, because it's a great city. It's not that big that we should have issues like that. I think what's good for the city is good for the community. And if everyone works in a good spirit, only good things happen for everybody. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes here.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Okay. Citizens to be heard is next.
We just did it.
Do we have any,
Not any more than that.
not any more than that, Mr. Sines? Mr. One, do you have any additional comments? Okay. Adjournment? Okay, there we go. I need to adjourn. So do you have a motion to adjourn? Oh, is
Motion to adjourn.
there a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No one will stay here longer? Thank you. There is our meeting.
And the time is 6:27.
6:29.
Doesn't matter.